Okay, hey everybody in YouTube land. I just came out of the grocery store, Kroger's. It's getting really, really scary. It really is. And I don't care who the president is or going to be. I think it's still going to be a hot mess. Somebody needs to fix the issues that our economy and our government is going through. But I can't even. I have no idea as to what would make the situation better. And I think that's the problem. They don't know how to make it better either, all the politicians and whatnot. But anyway, it's just, I don't know how people are going to make it. I don't know how we're going to make it. I don't know how my neighbor is going to make it. I don't know how the rest of my family is going to make it. I mean, it's, sometimes it's coming down to, do you pay the electric bill or do you eat? One or the other. You can't have both this month, and it just, I see no end to it in sight, and it doesn't matter if you make, I don't know, let's say if you make $4,000 a month, or if you make $1,000 a month. It doesn't matter. It's still a struggle, for everybody, even those who make, $4,000 in a month or whatever, or even more, because they have learned to live within those means, and they've got bills and things that have to be paid on that amount that they make. They say the more you make, the more you spend. Well, that's true. But it's getting terrible. And I worry about my son. He's 10 years old. This is not the world I thought I was going to bring him up in. And that was 10 years ago when I had him. It was not like it is now at all. And I don't know. I just don't know what people are going to do, And I mean, I've spoken to, there were some friends of ours that, really needed help, and I contacted one of the local food banks to see what they needed to bring in, like what kind of proof of whatever income or spending, to be able to sign up and qualify for, the food pantry. So anyway, I talked to a food pantry, and through our conversation and me finding out what, they had to get together to bring up, and while going over that conversation, I had asked them, how's things going as far as what they have to give out and the amount of people coming in, like that ratio. And she told me, she said, it's hard. She said, there are a lot of times that, they get the basics, that's because that's all we have to give. And she said that's things like, canned goods and, things like it. There's no fresh vegetables, she said. She said, usually there's no dairy, unless it's something that they could freeze. And she did say a lot of the times when things get bad, there's no meat to be given because they just don't have it. And these are things that people need. Yeah, and it just, our state and our federal government really, really have people under their thumb. They really do. They really do. And they don't seem to know what it's like as they sit there in their $1,000 suit or more, dictating what you're going to pay every month, in either utilities or food, and I mean, I don't know how much tighter people can budget, because it's, we get it used to be I would go to the store and I would never have to, let's say, add up things as I put them in the cart. I've never, excuse me, and until as of lately, I have never had to be standing at the register and have them take things off because I didn't have enough money to cover what was already rung up. And it's embarrassing. It is, because a lot of people don't understand, that, well, it's the situation that we're in, I mean, and some people just don't understand that. And I don't know how they can be that way when they're paying the same prices as I'm paying for everything. So, all that being said, I hope you all were able to pay all of your bills. I hope you all were able to feed your family and feed them well and not have to worry about, I can't go to the store because I don't have any money to feed my kids. There's no reason. There is no reason whatsoever that anyone in this country is homeless or hungry. No reason for it. None whatsoever. We got people sleeping on the streets. Literally. You go down there at night, they got a cardboard box, and some of them, if they're lucky, they have a blanket or a pillow. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen them there sleeping. Sometimes they'll sleep on, like a bench that's, just right out on the sidewalk, where people can stop and sit. Well, they end up sleeping there because that's the only place they can find to sleep. And it's heart-wrenching, And I know there's a lot of people that get crazy about the whole idea of giving money to those individuals who are standing out there with a sign saying that they're hungry or they need help or, they're homeless or things like that. And, I don't care if it is drugs or alcohol, because, I recently lost a cousin to drug overdose. So that issue is very real to me. And I think what people forget sometimes is you're not just looking or dealing with an addict. That is somebody's son, daughter, mother, father, aunt, uncle, cousin, friend. They're that before they're an addict. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like people just assume if they're an addict, well, then there's no value to their life. Well, no, there's not. And that's not the case. That's not the way it should be, because there is value in their life. They have gotten in a situation and they find it hard to get out of, which I understand. I mean, you're an addict, what are you going to do? But back to the people standing and begging for money with their signs or whatever, it doesn't matter what your fix is, what your, what gets you. Some people overeat. I would be one of them people. Some people smoke. Some people drink. Some people do drugs, whether it's snorting, smoking, intravenous, it doesn't matter. But for them to be able to stand out there and beg for money, no matter what their situation is, you got to have it pretty bad. You really do, because I can't imagine how humiliating it must be, because they know what some people think of them, and I mean, I've been one of those ones. I used to be that way. I used to go, they're just a fucking addict and do away with them, and it doesn't matter, they're just a burden on society and they're an eyesore, until it hit home. And it hit hard when it did. And it's really crazy, because that cousin that I recently lost, quite a few years back, I'm going to say like 6-7 years ago, she had posted something on Facebook, and it was just like, vulgar and just ignorant. And I said something. I don't know exactly what I said, but I know it couldn't have been nice. And then she said something, and then I said something, and then her brother said something, and I said something, and I talked to their mother, which is my aunt, and next thing you know, I have unfriended them and banned them, blocked them, and they did the same with me. And we hadn't spoken in years. Then in 2022, when my mom passed away, that aunt I was speaking about, the mother of my cousin, is my mom's sister. And when she died, that aunt of mine and her 2 kids reached out to me. And I couldn't believe it, but I tell you, I needed them. And they obviously knew that I needed them. And it just, don't wait until people are dying. Just suck it up. Say you're sorry. Move on. It'll be all good. You can't harbor these feelings. So, anyway, after we had, I guess, reunited, you could say, I found out through my cousin's mother, my aunt, that she is an addict. And she was an addict back when we had our disagreement and argument and banned each other. And then I realized that wasn't really her. That was the addict. Because she's so much more than an addict.